And we are live on time. That is crazy. That is insane. And it's early in the day. What is going on? What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. I don't care. Whoa, 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 whoa. Reverb, echo, 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 echo. I had to fix that. Already starting off with a technical difficulty. That's not a good sign. By the way, if you're just joining me, hit the thumbs up. If you disagree with me, then go ahead and do what you want to do. You can leave or hit the thumbs down. I really don't care because you're not going to change my mind. The fact of the matter is this: Beterbiev beat Bivol, and in my opinion, it was very convincing. Very convincing. I don't get where this robbery is coming from. I don't even understand it. Now, I have made several videos on robberies. In fact, I have made more than one video on boxing robberies when the guy that I picked won and they won by robbery. So the history of my channel proves that I'm not biased off of a pick. I'm not biased when I say a guy will win, and when they win, I just run with it, even if they lost. The fact of the matter is, to me, it was as clear as day who won it. Now, I brought up some things, and here's the thing about it. I talked to some people last night. Shout out to a dude named Coach Eddie. It got a little heated, but at the end of the day, it was all love. The thing about it is this. We are going to use CompuBox. I don't really use CompuBox. I use my two eyes, but CompuBox in this case is backing up what I said. And it's just one measurement tool, one thing of empirical evidence to back up the claim. Now, this is the problem with Bivol, right? And we've seen fighters time and time again lose who are less active, who don't throw as many punches. And when it comes down to actually overall landing punches, there's not much difference in between them and the less active guy who just overwhelms them. In fact, there was a fight not too long ago that I did on my channel, and I thought that fighter got robbed. But the difference in this fight and that fight was the fact that I think it was the Kansei Sao fight. I would have to look it up. Kansei Sao won a fight that he shouldn't have won. Let me look it up. And he was on the back foot the entire time. I don't see it. Who was he fighting? Let me go to his box rec, guys. Because I remember I did a video on Kansei Sao winning. I just don't remember who he beat. Foster, that's right. Oshaki Foster should have won the fight. Now, there's a huge difference in the way that Oshaki Foster fought Kansei Sao versus the way that Bivol fought Beterbiev. So I want to keep it 100. I thought Oshaki Foster won. So this is to say that I don't just think that if you come forward and throw shots, you win by default. That's not how a judge fights. I have a history of it. The biggest difference in the Kansei Sao fight and the Oshaki Foster fight is this. Oshaki was landing on a guy who missed all of his punches. There's a big discrepancy here because I'm looking at my video right here. We'll actually go to share screen. Let me do this real fast. And I'm going to just give y'all an apples to apples type fight and tell y'all why it's not actually apples to apples, it's apples to oranges. Because if somebody wants to go through my receipts, through my video history, and they're going to be like, well, how could you say there was a robbery here, but not a robbery there? I'm going to explain. So let's go to share screen real fast. And then we're going to get down into the breakdown of evidence. So let's go here. We're going to share this real fast. Boom. So you see right here, Kansei Sao, Oshaki Foster. Well, the actual title is Oshaki Foster robbed against Robson. Kansei Sao, boxing gets it wrong again. Now, if you look at this, people will be like, well, yeah, Oshaki was on the back foot, just like Bivol. So how could you say Foster got robbed, but Bivol didn't? Well, here's the big difference. When you look at the actual percentage of landed shots and actual landed shots, Oshaki landed what? 33 more punches. So Oshaki Foster landed 33 more punches than Kansei Sao. So there was a huge discrepancy in how many punches were actually landed on Kansei Sao. If you go round by round, you can see Foster was outlanding him round by round, which is how it's scored. You can see that one guy landed at 25% and the other one at 11%. So even though Oshaki Foster was fighting off the back foot and threw less shots, and Kansei Sao was the constant aggressor, threw more shots, he overall landed a significant difference in punches. It was way less, especially when you go round by round. Let's stop sharing this because I want to keep consistency here. So when we go here, and I'm going to go to share screen, and then I'm going to break down everything. We're going to wrap it all up together. Hopefully y'all can see this. Maybe this will do better. Hopefully y'all can see that. But if we go down here and we look at total punches, right? Keep in mind there was a 33 difference in the Foster and Kansei Sao fight. When you look at here, you have 137 to 142. There is not that many shots that are different in overall landed between the two. You have 5 punches. Five punches. That is the difference here. Beterbiev wasn't just swinging and hitting air. He was swinging and landing while being the aggressor, while going forward, while throwing more shots. So it was effective because at the end of the day, even though Bivol had slightly better, well, I mean, I wouldn't say slightly, he had a lot better defense because he evaded more. He still got hit by damn near the same amount of punches that he landed. Well, here's the problem. You can't throw less, be pushed backwards, throw the softer, less effective shots, rely on just a jab, not power punches, and then think you went around when you're landing damn near the same amount of punches or you're getting outlanded by the guy who's coming forward, who's hurting you, who's pushing you back, who's controlling the center of the ring, and we're going to get down into the 4 scoring criteria. So let's see if I can change. Okay, here we go. So everybody knows this. Everybody knows this, and we're going to do this real. I'm going to hop back and forth between these two screens. We're going to do this. So everybody knows this, but I just want to show it in plain ink so that way nobody can disagree with this. Anybody who's not a casual will not disagree with this. There's 4 scoring criteria to a round in professional boxing. Unlike in the amateurs, which is just the white of the glove touching the target, whether that be the face of the body, that's scoring. Whoever touches the most wins. It doesn't matter if it's pity patter or hard punches in the amateur. He who lands the most wins. Unlike in the professionals. In the professionals, these are the 4 criteria, and these are actually out of order. The most important thing in boxing is this: clean, effective punches. Okay? Now, we could argue here about this. Because people could be like, well, Bivol was blocking most of his shots. So they weren't really clean shots. But on the flip side of the coin, they were a lot more effective. They took their toll on Bivol. So much to the last 3 rounds of the fight, he didn't even fight back. His offense went negative. He went into a shell. He went into survival mode. Why? Because these effective shots started to take their toll. And I'm not giving credit because one guy hits harder than the other. I don't believe in that. I don't believe because you're a knockout artist, you get bonus points because you land a hard shot when you're fighting a Paulo Malignaggi that has no power. I don't give credit off of power alone. But when you're breaking through the defense, it's effective, especially when it's snapping somebody's head back. The thing about it is this, and what people don't understand is you can block a shot and it not actually be blocked. See, this is called penetration. If I hit your glove and it goes straight through your guard into your face and I snap your head back, that's an effective punch. Even though you tried to block it, you didn't block it because I penetrated your guard to hit you in the face. A lot of times, Bivol had a high guard. But if you watch the replays or you rewatch the fight, Beterbiev, while he was connecting with the gloves of Bivol, he was penetrating right through it, hitting him in the face. That's why he looked like he got hit in the face by a baseball bat by the end of the fight. Because what you think he was blocking, he wasn't actually blocking. They were going straight through that guard, penetrating. So when I look at clean, effective punching, I give the edge to Beterbiev. Now, there was rounds where Bivol clearly had the cleaner punches off the counter, had snappy jabs. You got to give him that. And I'm going to show you the rounds that I gave him. And we're going to go back and forth, like I said, between this and CompuBox. I'm not holding CompuBox as if it's this infallible metric, but it's the only metric we got other than what we saw with our eyes. So the more effective, cleaner punches, in my opinion, overall through the duration of the fight, especially late into the fight, was landed by Beterbiev. So taking that out, the next thing that you have is ring generalship. Who controlled the center of the ring? Who controlled the action of the fight? Well, when you have one guy on his bicycle, shoe shining, throwing pity patters, and the other guy marching forward, driving him out of the center of the ring, controlling the action at all stages of the round, that's the ring general. Well, sorry, guys. Bivol was never the ring general. Even in the rounds that he won, he wasn't the ring general. So when you come back to them close rounds, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Like Beyonce, sorry, not sorry. Beterbiev was the ring general. Now, when you look at effective aggression, who was the effective aggressor? Well, it wasn't Bivol. Bivol was never aggressive. Bivol was staying away, jabbing, and occasionally would come in with a combination on a counter and then immediately get out of the pocket and go on the back foot again to stay and play keep away. So when you're staying away, playing keep away, it's not really being effective aggression. Aggression is I'm coming at you. Now, I'm not going to give you credit for just coming at somebody and getting your face beat off. That's why before this began, I related this to and made parallels to the Foster versus Conceição fight. While Foster got robbed and Conceição shouldn't have won, and how it's completely different than this fight. Conceição was coming forward, throwing it there, not landing. He got outlanded by 33 punches. In this fight, there was only 5 punches that separated the two by the end, which tells you Beterbiev was being aggressive. If I land just as much as you marching forward, I'm being the effective aggressor, period. So then you come to defense. Well, without a doubt, without a question, none of us, even the people who thought Beterbiev won, there is no debate. Bivol had the better defense. But I named defense last because defense is the last thing on the criteria, is the weakest metric. The first thing you look at is, did I outland you? Did I land cleaner, harder shots on you? If the answer is yes, and it's significant, we don't go to the other 3 factors. I won the round. However, if the punch stats are very close, then we go to the next factor, the ring general. Did I control the center of the ring? If we both had ebbs and flows to where we controlled the center of the ring, then we go to the next factor, which is effective aggression. Who had more aggression? Who was trying to make the fight a fight more? Who was more effective at making the fight more? If it's still pretty even, then finally we come down to who had the better defense. Defense is the weakest metric when it comes to scoring a fight. Because at the end of the day, like Lomachenko learned when he fought Teofimo Lopez, it doesn't matter how many punches you miss. If you don't throw none, you don't win the round. That's why Teo won rounds 1 through 6. Because Loma didn't let his hands go. Teo was swinging at air and only hit him with 1 or 2 shots a round. But when you don't throw back, those 1 or 2 shots still win. Because defense alone cannot win you a round or a fight. Thus, I have explained the case. Now, we're going to get into 2 things real fast. Again, like I said, I do not look at this as gospel. It's just a metric that we can use because it's all we got. Nobody that I know has gone on there and counted every punch themselves. I didn't. I did this live. I saved this. Hold on. The scorecard's not coming up, so let's share differently. Let's go to stop sharing. Hold on. I'm going to try to share differently. And then I'm going to open up the panel after I make my case. Let's go to share screen, window, entire screen. Here we go. Boom, share. Cool. Here we go. Now I can overlay. Okay, so these are the rounds that I gave each fighter. And I've got explanations. I do this live, okay? To the chat real fast. What's going up, everybody that's typing to me? I'll come to y'all's individual comments as soon as I get through this intro. All right, so I am going to slide this over some, and I am going to overlay. And it got small. I'm trying to overlay this to where y'all can see it all. Okay, 12 rounds, 12 rounds. So here we go. These are the rounds that I gave each fighter. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the empirical evidence that was provided. Until more evidence is given, this is how I saw it live, watching it. This is what I did round by round. If you want to say I'm biased, you're an idiot, because who the fuck would be biased and give the first 2 rounds to the fighter he picked to lose? You see what I'm saying? I don't get biased with this. Literally, I will state what I said at the beginning again before I break this down with CompuBox and the rounds that I saw live. I have literally picked fighters on my channel to win. And in my opinion, they have lost. Even though I picked them to win, I keep it 100 and honest. And I tell y'all, even though I picked them, I felt like they lost. It was a robbery. The guy that I picked should have lost. I keep integrity. So here we go. These are the rounds, and then we'll look at what CompuBox has, okay? So round 1, I gave to Bivol. Round 2, I gave to Bivol. Round 3, I gave to Beterbiev. Round 4, I gave to Beterbiev. Round 5, I gave to Bivol. Round 6, 7, and 8, I gave to Beterbiev. Round 9, I gave to Bivol. And then 10 through 12, which is not up for debate with anybody, Beterbiev won. I haven't met one person who thought Bivol won that said he won the last 3 rounds. Not one. Now, maybe one will jump on the panel today, but I have yet to meet somebody who said Bivol won the last 3 rounds. So even to those who are trying to say some crazy ass shit that Beterbiev didn't, so what y'all are telling me is from rounds 1 through 9, Beterbiev only won 2 rounds? Because that's what Bivol would have had to done to get the 7-5 that people try to claim. And then we're going to go over here to empirical data. But Beterbiev could have only won 2 rounds from 1 through 9 for Bivol to win 7-5. So this is to argue the loss for Beterbiev. You would have to give Beterbiev only 2 rounds through 1 through 9. Now let's jump over here and see what CompuBox said they landed. And as I explained earlier, we're going to break it down off of how I did the 4 scoring criteria of boxing, which everybody goes by. So in round 12, they were separated by a punch. You have 3 punches landed by Beterbiev when he threw 25, 2 punches landed by Bivol when he threw 12. So what we can say is the more aggressive fighter was Beterbiev. The ring general was Beterbiev. The harder shots, more effective shots were landed by Beterbiev. I'm not using it as a measuring stick. I'm not using it. You had to catch it from the beginning. So here's the deal. When you get outlanded by the harder, cleaner puncher, the more effective puncher, the one that's being the ring general, you lose. So he got outlanded in round. Oh, that's jabs. I'm sorry. I didn't scroll up high enough. So he still 1 punch. Beterbiev landed 15 out of 63. Bivol landed 14 out of 38. Okay? Beterbiev outlanded him. All right? He outlanded him. So round 12 is a Beterbiev round because of what I just explained. Around 11, there's not even a question. The punch difference is so vast, so great, 6 different, that we don't even need to break down everything. Because, again, all these rounds is the same thing. The ring general, even in the rounds that Beterbiev lost, he was still the ring general. Even in the rounds that he lost, he was the aggressor. He just wasn't as effective. But in the rounds that he won, he was the effective aggressor. He was the ring general. And the entire fight, he was landing the more effective shots. Even in the rounds he lost. So this isn't even up for debate. Then you come to round 10, okay? So now we're at 3 rounds where Beterbiev outlanded Bivol. And like I said, I'm not using this as gospel. We're just going through a metric because this is the only metric we have. So in the last 3 rounds, Bivol lost round 10 for the same reason he lost round 12, all right? Then you come to round 9. Now, as you see, there's only 2 punches that separate them in round 9. However, watching this round live, you can see, even though Bivol only landed 2 more shots. I gave it to Bivol. Why? Because in round 9, I felt like Bivol was dancing around Beterbiev and hitting him with lefts and rights at will. In this round, he was landing the better, cleaner shots. However, in round 8, it was an off round for both guys. Neither guy did much in round 8. Bivol pretty much sat there and stared at him. Beterbiev pretty much sat there and stared at Bivol. Neither guy really did much. You can see Beterbiev outlanded him in round 8, 12-7. But it was really an off round for both fighters. So now we have 4 rounds right here. Just in the last 5 rounds, we have 4 rounds that have gone to Beterbiev just by outlanding Bivol. Then you go to round 7 again. Now you're looking at, in the last 6 rounds, he's outlanded him again. So now we have round 7. 17 total landed to 13. He threw 74 punches, which means he was more active, pushing him backwards, to Bivol's 35. So from 7 to 12, and remember I said, if you give Beterbiev the last 3, he cannot win more than 2 rounds from 1 to 9. He won round 9. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He lost round 9. He won round 8. And he won round 7. So if he wins one more round from 1 to 6, that means by worst, it is a draw. It is a draw. Because from 7 to 12, he has already won 5 rounds. And they're not even hard rounds to judge. 7 to 12 are not hard to judge at all on who won the rounds. There is too much of a discrepancy of landed shots versus not landed shots versus what they were actually doing in the round to do it. So from 7 to 12, Bivol only won 1 round. So now, if Beterbiev wins at least 1 round in between the first to 6 rounds, guess what? Bivol did not win the fight. So you would have to argue that from rounds 1 through 6, which you could argue those rounds, Beterbiev didn't get 1 swing round. Not 1. Here's the issue. We come to round 6 that I gave to Beterbiev as well. They both landed 9 punches. Uh-oh. In an even round, what did I say you go to next? First thing is clean, effective shots. The next criteria is what? Ring general. Ring general. I want somebody, whenever I open up this panel, to come on here and argue with me that Bivol was the ring general in round 6. This dude was on his bicycle the entire time. The ring general is controlling the center of the ring, controlling the flow of the fight. That's what Beterbiev was doing. Who was landing the harder shots if we go to the first metrics? It was Beterbiev. Who was landing the more cleaner shots? I would say Bivol. I would give them a draw in that first category because one was landing cleaner, one was landing more effective. But they're even, 9-9 and 6. Moving past that, the ring general, you can't even debate that or argue that. The effective aggressor, you can't even argue that. So Beterbiev won 2 out of the 4 categories. You can give them a draw in 1, so he's got 3 out of the 4 categories, and Bivol's got 2 out of the 4 categories. Bivol loses by the simple metrics of how you judge a round in round 6. Now it's a draw. Rounds 1 through 5. If Beterbiev wins one of these rounds, which you already know he lost round 3, nobody's going to argue with round 3. He lost the fucking fight. Period. Round 3 is not up for debate. So again, we've already gone through the last 6 rounds, showing you how Beterbiev has already got ahead. He's already at 6 rounds won. If you go from the 5th round to the 12th round, he's already won 6 rounds. Now the debate is going to be the first 4 rounds. Now we're going to go back to the 4th round. The 4th round, I believe I gave to Bivol. Let's look. Yes. No, I gave Beterbiev the 4th round. What did I say happened in the 4th round? Because we're going off memory here. All right, round 4, I gave to Beterbiev, which all these rounds right here, besides the 3rd round, in my opinion, was a swing round. But let's look at what I wrote for the 4th round. I said in the 4th round, Beterbiev controls the round. Bivol did land a good 1-2 counter off of a Beterbiev jab. However, the hardest shot of the round was landed by Beterbiev, and he landed combos before the bell. Yes, that's right. Now I remember that round. Now I remember the 4th round. If you watch the last 30 seconds of that round, it was Beterbiev beating on him before the bell. Beating on him. You know, here's the thing that people don't understand about boxing. Do you realize that you could outland me in a round and I could hit you one time and drop you and I won the round? Do you realize that you could be landing pity patters on me and outland me, but if I stun your ass to where it looks like you're about to go down and I have time left to pile on shots on you, you just lost the round because you're hurt and the effectiveness of the attack is better than what you did? So round 4 was separated by 1 punch. Bivol outlanded him by 1 punch. 1. But when you look at power shots, that matter more. Power shots are more effective than simple jabs. You come down and look at this. Beterbiev outlanded him in power shots. Bivol outlanded him in jabs. Beterbiev landed 2 more power shots. Bivol landed 3 more jabs. 2 power shots is greater than 3 jabs. If you land 3 jabs on me and I land 2 clean straights on you, I won the round if that's all that was landed. Sorry, that's how pro boxing works. So now on my scorecard, it's already 7 rounds for Beterbiev. 7 rounds with round 4. Then you go to round 3. There's no questioning round 3. Even though CompuBox says there's 1 punch apart, which Beterbiev landed more in this one, Beterbiev outlanded him in 6 out of the 12 rounds. You had 1 draw round, okay? 1 draw round where they both landed 9 punches, and then you have 1 round that Bivol won. Excuse me, not that Bivol won. You have 1 round that Bivol outlanded Beterbiev by 1 punch. It's not biased, Boxing Lounge, and I'll get to all the comments in a minute. A power punch is more effective than a jab. That's why Canelo gets outlanded and wins all his fights, because they rate power over pity power. Pity patter does not count like power does. It's not biased. That's the fuck how professional judges judge fights. This is not the amateurs. The white of the glove touching you in a scoring spot does not matter. It depends on what the effect of the shot is. So again, and there's no argue to the effect of it. The effect was blatantly obvious in the last 3 rounds. Had this been a 15-round fight like the 70s, Bivol would have gone to sleep because his defense, his offense, his effectiveness from round 10 on was slipping. He was depleting. He was degrading. He would have been knocked the fuck out had this gone 15 rounds. By round 12, Beterbiev looked like he was just getting into the fight. Bivol was fucking gassing out. Beterbiev was just coming on. The effectiveness was the accumulations of the shots that he took in these early rounds. That added up to him doing absolutely nothing from rounds 10 through 11. So let's go back to the CompuBox. Then we come to round 3 where Beterbiev outlanded him. We're not going to go through that. And then in round 2 and 1, Bivol significantly outlanded Beterbiev. So we don't even need to go into the ring generalship, the effective aggression, because it wasn't effective, because it wasn't even close. These are blatantly, obviously, rounds for Bivol 1 and 2. Thus, as I just went through it all, it's 8-4. 8-4. Beterbiev. Nobody's going to tell me different. The judge that had it 116 to 112 is exactly how I had it. If I was ringside, that's exactly how I would have scored it, based off of this right here. Based off of this. So, I'm going to open up the panel, and as I open up the panel for people to go back and forth with me, I'm going to read the comments before I let anybody on. So if you try to get on the live stream, just hang out for a second in the background, and then I'm going to go through these comments real fast. What's going on, Regulator? How you doing it? Mobius, what's good from the UK? Martin Butler from the UK as well. Birmingham, what's good with you? Boxing Lounge, I was responding to some of the stuff they said. CompuBox is not that reliable. It's just a crude measuring stick. Again, I'll say what I said earlier. I agree. It's not gospel. But I find it funny how whenever I did this live, the CompuBox pretty much says the rounds that I gave Beterbiev, he won, according to CompuBox. I just found that funny. Nobody wants to use CompuBox when it doesn't go in their favor or when it's not reliable to them, but then everybody wants to use it when it does back them up. I use it, period, whether it's for me or against me, period, because it's the only measuring stick that we got. We can all say that it's not perfectly accurate. I think Beterbiev landed a lot more shots than they gave him credit for, because I don't believe Bivol was doing that great of a job at blocking the shots, because I watched multiple shots crack the guard and hit him in the face. I think Beterbiev landed a lot more than what they give him credit for, but I'm not going to argue that. I'm going to just go off of what we got. So just tune in. Cool. What's going on, Boxing Lounge? Where does it say in the rules that you have to outland your opponent to guarantee? You don't have to outland your opponent. That's what I was stating, Boxing Lounge. But if you're landing the harder, cleaner shots, even if you get outlanded, you can still win the round. And that's the thing about this fight. Beterbiev was landing the cleaner, harder shots. Bivol was landing shoe-shining shots and getting the fuck out of Dodge. He made a mistake, I think it was in the 10th round, where he tried to trade with Beterbiev for the first time, and he paid for it for the next 3 rounds because he got caught in between shots and was just getting battered after that. So Bivol was not trying to trade. He wasn't trying to assert dominance. He was just trying to score and get the fuck out. So again, it's the quality of shots that were landed. Pity patter is never going to count for as much as shit with mean intentions that lands. It's just not. Not in the pros. In the amateurs, it does. All right, you've only seen the highlights. Yeah, you need to watch the fight. What's going on, Prodigal? How you doing? What's going on? I'm assuming BL is Boxing Lounge. I'll let you on in just a second. Let me get through these. I mean, apparently they are running it back, so I would, if it would be on, oh, you would like it to be on Daniel Dubois versus AJ2. I don't want them to run it back. I don't want Beterbiev to give Bivol another shot. I don't think Beterbiev should ever fight him again. You know why? And I'm going to state this right now. This is my problem with Bivol. Bivol is a duck. He is a coward. I don't care what he says in his interviews. Everybody that wants to call Canelo a duck, Bivol's that times 100. Here's why. Bivol won his first title, the WBA, before Beterbiev ever got a belt. Bivol became a champion in 2017. Beterbiev got his first belt in 2018. Bivol never made any attempts to unify with any of the other champions. Beterbiev unified to collect the other 3 belts. Beterbiev and Bivol could have fought way back in 2018 towards the end. Bivol didn't want to fight him. Beterbiev and Bivol could have fought 2 years ago. Bivol didn't want to fight him. What happened was Bivol and Eddie Hearn looked at a guy who was damn near 40 at 39 years old that they aged out for 6 fucking years, who was coming off of 4 injuries in the last 2 years and thought they could beat him. Well, I'm sorry. You just got beat by a damn near 40-year-old and you're crying about it. So if I was Beterbiev, you made me wait 6 years to fight you, I would make you wait 6 more years. Oh, too bad. I'm retired. In fact, if I was Beterbiev, I would be pushing for a Canelo fight. If Canelo could beat Beterbiev, which I would actually say is probably possible, it might be possible that Canelo could beat Beterbiev because Beterbiev's style is more conducive to Canelo's style. Beterbiev's going to come at you. He's going to fight you. So that gives the counterpuncher and Canelo all the advantages that he needs if he can survive the power. If his chin is as good as it looks to be, maybe he can take Beterbiev's shots and put Beterbiev down because he's been dropped. So why does Canelo even need a rematch, Bivol, if he can beat the guy that just beat him and become undisputed at 175? If I was Beterbiev, I'd push for Canelo and say, fuck Bivol. You made me wait 6 years. You can get in line. I'll fight you when you're 39. That could be a 9-9 round. Even if it's a 9-9 round, then it's still, it'd be a 7-6 for Beterbiev. It still wouldn't be a draw. I think Triple D versus AJ2. I'm on Boxing Lounge. I'm gonna let you on in just a second. Let me just get through these. I think Triple D versus AJ2 card will be part of Queensberry Matchroom 5v5. I hope so, because I love watching Frank Warren destroy all of Eddie Hearn's fighters. Because the Zone keeps putting false copyright claims on my channel. So every time they lose, I love it. I love it. How is it biased? I don't know what part you said is biased. Depends on the effectiveness. I don't believe I'm biased at all. A counter regular punch, well-timed, can do damage just like a... Yes, but a counter regular punch is considered a power punch. When you counter somebody, like a counter jab is a power punch. It's not ranked as a jab. A jab is when you step forward and land a shot. If you do a pull jab, they mark it as a power punch, especially if it snaps somebody's head back. Glad Beterbiev won, as he has more positive in his work. Bivol was shoe shining at the end of the round. I agree. Beterbiev was finding those gaps between the gloves by the end. I agree again. Power punches catch the eye easier. The problem with human judges, I don't disagree with that. No dice. Nobody beating Beterbiev. I don't know. He is 39 years old, and eventually he's going to walk into that ring, and Father Time is going to be tapping him on the shoulder. I think, to be honest with you, I think David Benavidez right now has a very good shot at beating him, just because of the work activity. As long as Benavidez can take his power, he could overwhelm him. It's just the $1 million question is going to be, can Benavidez take his power? I don't know. But Benavidez will be significantly bigger than Beterbiev. And that can offset sometimes the strength. The size difference can offset the strength difference. Because I believe Beterbiev is a strong guy, because every fighter that fights him says how strong he is. But when somebody outweighs you, you got to overcome their weight and their strength. So your strength has got to be greater than their added weight plus their strength. So I think it'd be a really good fight, Benavidez versus Beterbiev. But I heard Beterbiev talking about that fight, and it didn't sound like he wanted it. In my opinion, I think Beterbiev should be chasing Canelo right now. I truly think that's who he should be chasing.
Yeah, but do you think Canelo wants that smoke?
I think Canelo would look at that fight and see that he's vulnerable, because you got to think Canelo's MO is counterpunching, and Bivol did catch him with a lot of counterpunches. And I don't care how good of a boxer Bivol is at movement and hitting and moving with his feet moving. I think Canelo's a way better counterpuncher, and if Bivol could counterpunch, Canelo can counterpunch, especially when he.
Yeah, but remember Canelo's age and his last performance at 175. In my opinion, that was pretty much a fight of two halves. He looked okay in the first half. In the second half, he just looked shit because his gas was done.
You talking about Bivol or Canelo?
No, Canelo when he fought Bivol at 175. Yeah.
But whenever you're chasing somebody and you're having problems cutting off the ring, it can get you tired because you're constantly on the move trying to hunt them. It's a completely different fight. If he fights Beterbiev, he's not going to be chasing. He's going to be meeting them in the middle.
Yeah, but I reckon he'll be up against someone who's got a better chin and a better punch than he's got now. Beterbiev may not be as highly skilled as Canelo, but I think in the long run he'll be more effective. I reckon he'll stop Canelo.
Hold on 1 second. He may stop Canelo. He may, but Canelo's chin has been tested. He's never been dropped. We've never really seen him hurt outside of that one fight a long time ago. I think it was Cotto's brother. They caught him with an uppercut.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that,
before the end of the round, yeah,
we've never even seen him hurt. And I mean, he's fought hard punchers. He fought Kovalev, 8 shots from him all night long, didn't get dropped or stunned. He fought Triple G 3 times, didn't get caught or stunned. I don't know that Beterbiev can knock him out, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think when he fought Bivol, I don't know if it was a combination of him being tired and then Bivol just putting a combination on him, but I thought he actually looked hurt when he was lying on the ropes. Canelo.
No.
I could be wrong. I may need to rewatch it, but it just looked like he needed a few seconds to get his head back. Now, I mean, he may have just been buzzed. It's very hard to tell by, if someone has got a poker face.
I'm listening to you.
No, it sounds like you're in the next room.
Yeah, I don't agree with Canelo being hurt in that fight. I think he was laying on the ropes because he was trying to bait Bivol into the fight to trade with him, and he was using the ropes to keep his balance up because he was tired from chasing him. Because Canelo knew he couldn't catch him, so he wanted him to come in. I think that's the only reason why he was laying on the ropes.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I reckon it's just a little bit too. Look, we'll never know one way or the other because unless Canelo actually talks about it after he retires.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Canelo, even if Canelo was hurt, I don't think he'd ever admit to it.
No, I don't think he would. No.
I'm going to do something. I'm going to do a poll. Let me mute that. How do I do this poll? I had to jump over here. Hold on.
So right click on something, isn't it?
I don't fucking remember. I rarely ever do lives. I want to see what the people think. Because I thought Beterbiev won 8-4. Nobody's yet to change my opinion. I know you can't change my opinion because
I'm not trying to change your opinion. Look, I haven't watched the fight through yet, so I haven't made up my full opinion yet. I've just seen the highlights, but the highlights is not the full fight.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't even change my opinion because you didn't watch the fight.
I'm still ignorant.
Okay, hold on. I see now. Okay, here we go. I'm about to put this poll out there. I don't care if people disagree with me. You know what I mean? Well, let's just see who won the fight. Okay. Let's exit that. Start poll. Boom. Let me jump back over to StreamYard. Boom. Back over to StreamYard. Let's we're gonna do this real fast. I'm gonna hit the webcam for 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna get off the webcam. And we're gonna hit it with the beard showing, with the sexy beard. Hold on, let's shift real fast. We're gonna put the big boy on the camera. Let me turn on my cam. Hold on.
Oh, there's a Chevy Chase.
Look at that boy. Oh, look at that boy. That boy big. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, that's 269 pounds of pure muscle. Oh, that boy got big. Oh. All right, off webcam.
Have you enrolled in the VADA program?
No, I have not, but I would. I would. I could pass VADA. Easy. Boy, I've just got healthy. That's the thing, Boxing Lounge. I have been riddled with injuries over the last 4 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or
like shoulders and shit, like joints.
What's that?
Your joints or tendons?
Well, I had shoulder surgery and labrum surgery. My labrum was grinded down into almost like a spear. The tip of it looked like a toothpick, and it was serrating my labrum. So they had to go in there, cut the tip off that, and then they repaired my labrum. So I was down for that. I had nasal surgery, so I was out of commission for that. But this was like way back injury. I had a deviated septum that had to have like 4 corrective surgeries on. So,
is that from football?
No, it was from a car wreck.
Oh, okay.
My nose on the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually never been injured like doing anything. And then if you go way back about 5-6 years ago, I was recovering from a torn Achilles tendon.
And fuck!
I wasn't even doing anything. I was just walking. Like literally, I was just walking. I wasn't cutting.
Did you work your calves the day before or something like that? Is that why they were tight?
No, I didn't work nothing. I literally, I don't even know if I had worked out the day before. I was just walking, and then I heard in my head, that's what it sounded like. And I was on one knee, and nothing hurt. Yeah. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know how it feels if you like step down and you miss a stair, you don't know it's there?
Yeah.
That's how it felt. And I heard that sound like a popping noise in my head, right? And I was on one knee, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then it happened whenever I stood up and I took that next step on my left leg. It was like, bow! And I fell back like I got hit by a shotgun, and my fucking leg went limp, and it turned out I tore my Achilles. So I just had all these injuries, and they've all been in between. So like I get healthy, start working out, have another injury. Start working out, have another injury. So this is the first time for like the last year and a half I've been just straight healthy, been able to eat, work out, run, jump rope, boxing, heavy bag, speed bag. So I'm just gaining. I'm
So
sleeping.
you're in good shape. Looks like you're in good shape.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I would definitely enroll in Nevada. Water. I can pass it all. If I ever get
Thank you,
big,
Alan, man.
there's people who like to expose people for roids. If I ever get big, I got the $50,000 challenge. I'll take any steroid test they want, but when I win it and come out clean, I want $50,000 from whoever channel tries to expose me.
Yeah, it will be me. I'm not taking that challenge.
I'll get on camera one more time for Prodigal. No, Prodigal, I have not been eating eggs with Connor Ben. This is a no egg, or no, I eat eggs every morning. I ain't even gonna lie. I eat about 6 eggs every morning, but I'm not eating them with Connor Ben. These are not UK eggs, these are American eggs.
I hope they're not fertilized.
No, there's no fertilization in these eggs. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. I really believe what's going on, Ben Israel. I really believe that Canelo would have a better shot at beating Beterbiev than Bivol, stylistically. I saw an old man who was 39 years old coming off a meniscus injury, which is a knee injury. And you could see that Beterbiev was slower to start at the beginning. Like he's not ever a really fast starter, but he's normally a lot more aggressive. And the thing about it is this: if there was any takeaway from this fucking fight, Beterbiev can knock Bivol out. Because every time he hit him to the body, he hurt him, and he hurt him bad. But the problem was he quit going to the body. Every time he hit him to the body, Bivol's hands would drop and he would take deep breaths. If I was in his corner, I would have been telling him, fuck the head, just hit him in the body. He can't take it. You got him beat. Hit him in the body. Beat them guts up like you just got out of prison. He cannot take it. And in the rematch, I think he's just going to aim for the body.
He might have more success if he goes body hunting, but the problem with that is that you need to be a little bit closer to hit with the body than you do the head. Just a little bit. That leaves you a little bit more vulnerable to, shots and counter shots.
Yeah, but he was always within range to hit him. He was never out of range to hit him. The only reason why his land percentage was so low was because of block shots. It wasn't evasion. Like, Bivol was getting hit nonstop. He was just blocking. It wasn't like he was parrying or getting out the way.
Yeah, but you see those shots that land on the gloves first, I would score those as effective aggression, not clean punching.
Well, it depends. It depends. I agree. It is effective aggression if you're landing on the gloves. But if it's penetrating, and when it penetrates, it snaps his head back, to me, that's...
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair dues. But if you're talking about just if you're just moving like an inch, like you're, like the earth's kind of vibrating kind of thing, and it's kind of hard to sort of score those as clean punches,
No, I agree. I agree with you there.
But it's like where's the cutoff point between clean punches and effective aggression? It's kind of a little bit gray.
RL said, do you agree with his RL said Canelo would run all night from Beterbiev? I don't think he would. I think Canelo would stand his ground in the middle. Like, I truly believe, I know a lot of people call me a Canelo hater because I criticize him for not taking the fights that I would like to see him take, because I think he's that great of a fighter that he's not living up to his abilities. He's not living up to what he should be, because he should have taken the Beterbiev fight. In fact, if he would have taken the Beterbiev fight, just like if Lomachenko would have taken the Devin Haney fight when he first could have, he would have beat him easy. Now,
why didn't he take the fight, though?
What's that?
Why didn't he take the fight?
Because I believe, this is what I believe with Canelo, right? I believe Canelo became a cherry picker ever since he lost to Bivol. I think from that point forward, he has been extremely cautious with his career, because unfortunately in boxing, a loss can make you lose everything. And he knew if he had taken another L after losing to Bivol, that his stock would plummet. And I just believe that's why they moved him so carefully, because he doesn't want to risk it. He wants to get high reward, low risk.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. How many years do you think he's got left on his career?
How old is he? 34? Let's look up Canelo's age. I think he's like
34 with plenty of miles on the clock, because he turned professional what age?
15.
Yeah, so that's like 20 odd years.
Yeah, he's 34 years old. I mean, it's a lot of mileage, but I don't know. Like, to me, Canelo, I don't think he looks bad. I don't think he looks aged. I don't think he looks like an old man. Like, people hold it against him that he's not getting knockouts. But again, when you're fighting guys, the thing about Canelo is this. Canelo hits hard, but he's not very good at cutting off the ring. He's not very good at chasing. And most of the guys that he's fighting at 168 or even Bivol at 175, they're all either 6 foot or taller than 6 foot. So when they go on the back foot to stay away from him, to stay away from getting knocked out, it's very hard for him to assert his dominance on them because he's so short and he's not good at cutting off the ring. He's never been good at cutting off the ring. So that's why I believe that, like, the knockouts haven't came.
Yeah, but as well as that, because of his weight. Now, bear in mind, where did he start? Did he start at 140 or was it below that?
140.
140. So he, in my opinion, if he fights at 175, he's really fighting outside his ideal range, if that makes sense. Because he's not really a 175, not an elite 175 pounder, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know, because you got to take account. The dude was 15 years old when he was fighting at 140. I mean, he grew fast because even whenever he got up to 154, he created his own weight class. He never fought at 154. He fought at 155. It was the Canelo weight class.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So, and then you got to think, whenever he went...
You trying to get Cotto to fight him at 155, remember?
Yeah. But then if you think, when he went to 160, he jumped up to 175 damn near immediately. Then he went back to 160. Then he went up to 168 pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, but I think the only reason he went to 160 was for the Triple G fight. I think otherwise he would have stayed at 168.
I mean, he may have. He very well could have. But my point is, if you look at how quickly he jumped up to 175, went back down to 160, and how quickly he went back up to 168, I think he might be a natural 175-pound fighter. I think him, whenever he was talking about going for a cruiserweight, Mukabu was the guy he wanted to fight because that would have been an easy link to beat.
How tall was he, or is he, Mukabu? How tall is Mukabu?
I think like 5'8", 5'9".
And he's a cruiserweight?
Yeah, he was a cruiserweight champion, but he was trash.
Right.
I mean, he's lost now.
Yeah, but it's still another belt to collect, I get it.
But yeah, he could have had that stake that, yo, I'm now a 5-division champion because he beat Mukabu at cruiserweight. I'm trying to where's his height? I'm looking for Mukabu's height right now. It says he's 6 foot tall. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, but I think cruiserweight, again, I think that's a weight division past 175. I mean, I don't think even the champions now, do you think he would beat the champions of cruiserweight, the weakest one?
Who, Canelo?
Yeah.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I think he has a good shot at beating Zerto because I don't think Zerto's good. I think Zerto's trash. So a guy like Zerto, Canelo might be able to beat. But as far as like...
Yeah, but the only concern I've got is, see with that such compact frame, see someone who's like who's tall and skinny, they've got more potential to put on muscle. But when you're already stacked up, putting on more muscle is just going to affect your gas tank in the second half of the fight, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, eventually you're going to get too big for your frame. Like, your weight is too heavy. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Like me right now. There's no fucking way I would ever want to box this fucking heavy at 5'11". Like, there's no way. I'm too like, now in a street fight, I pick this weight every day of the week. Fuck that. I would never want to be boxing weight for a street fight, because in a real fight, at this weight, I'm gonna grab you, I'm gonna slam you, and I'm gonna rip you the fuck apart. In a boxing ring, ideally, I probably wouldn't want to be much more than 220, 230 at the heaviest in my height. But
So what you're saying is, if you're lean, you'll be a purist, but if you're at the weight you are right now, you're going to be ground and pound.
Well, I mean, at the weight I am now, there's no point to be a purist. Like, why?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a street fight.
Yeah, like, why am I going to sit there and box with you when I can just grab you and rip your arms off?
That's just mean, Tony. That's just mean.
I mean, a grizzly bear ain't going to sit there and slap box with you with his paws. He's just going to move.
Have you tried it?
I mean, I've definitely mauled people before. So, when Grizzly do as Grizzly does.
Gotcha.
Let me see the chat real fast. Canelo wants no part of Beterbiev. Like I said, I think Beterbiev is a much easier fight for Canelo to win. It's a more dangerous fight, but I think it's a much more winnable fight than him rematching Bivol, because I think the end result would be the same. I don't think 100 out of 100 times he could ever beat Bivol. But I do believe that there is a probably 40% chance that he could beat Beterbiev as long as he can take his power. Because Beterbiev's been hurt. Beterbiev's been dropped. Bivol has been on record saying for single hard punches, Canelo hits harder. So if Canelo hits harder than the hardest puncher for single shot, not accumulation shots, for like, I'm putting everything into it. If Canelo has a harder one and done, there's a possibility with a guy who's been dropped twice in light heavyweight that Canelo's counter shots could get to him, as long as Canelo could take the punches. Let's see. I think Canelo is a natural 160, but is just campaigning at 168 at super middleweight. Janabek can fight at 168, move up and fight Canelo. There's too much to lose with Janabek. Janabek is not solidified like a Beterbiev or a Bivol was, and he's a smaller guy coming up. Canelo don't want to take that risk. Speaking of that, Canelo will beat the shit out of Terrence Crawford. Nobody gonna tell me anything different. But
is the fight happening though?
Shiraz, now that's a good fight. Shiraz looks very promising. I mean, I think he's still a little too green for Canelo, but that's a dangerous fight for Canelo because he's tall and he hits really hard. I should have jabbed that like. I appreciate it, Ben Israel. Hit that like button. I don't know though, Prodigal, because Shiraz is like fast and hits hard. He hits really hard and he's really fast. And unlike Callum Smith, he's very technical. He's a very good boxer. He has a very high IQ. So I don't know if that's a good matchmaking. What's going on, Electro Jed? You can hop on the panel if you want to. I know we semi-talked about this last night. Because Shiraz would be a hard fight. What do you think about that fight, Canelo Shiraz?
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Shiraz.
Really?
Yeah. I've been creating a load of content. I only really watch the big fights these days.
Well, he's been on a lot of undercards, Shiraz. So that's why I'm surprised you haven't seen him fight.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't even heard of him before.
How tall was Callum Smith? I know Shiraz is like 6'3". Is Callum Smith 6'3" or is he 6'2"?
Oh, I think he's 6'1" or 6'2", something like that.
Let me look up Callum Smith.
I think it's just a smidge over 6 foot.
He's 6'3". Okay, they're the same.
He's 6'3", right?
Yeah, I thought he was shorter than that, but I guess they're the same height.
So a quick question for you. Why do you think that Canelo washes Bud?
Because he's too small. He's just too fucking small. And then I seen Bud. 154 is Bud's cap. I highly doubt Bud will go undefeated at 154. I think he is going to run into one of the legitimate top 5 fighters up there and get found wanting, because he just fought Israel, not to be confused with Ben Israel, but he fought Israel, and he looked bad. I thought it was a draw. His power that he had at 147, he didn't show. And had Israel been used to having fucking championship fights and didn't get tired, he very well could have beat Bud. And that's a guy with only 10 fights. And I would argue is probably the weakest champion at 154.
So do you think 154 is maybe a bit too heavy for Bud?
Yeah, I think this is. So it's kind of like Lomachenko, right? For Lomachenko, he got found wanting at 3 weight classes. What I mean by that is, had he never moved up to 135, he would have always looked like the Matrix. He probably would have never lost outside of the Salido fight.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
But once he got up to 135, all them fancy moves didn't matter because his skill gap, or I should say his skill set, couldn't overcome the gap, the size of the fighters that he was fighting. That's the thing about it. You have to be so skilled when you're smaller that your skill set outweighs their natural weight advantages on you, their power, their strength, their size. And with Crawford, I think 154 is his limit. I don't think he can fight above it, and I don't even think he can go undefeated at it.
Right. Sounds like to me he'd probably be better off at 150, but that's a catch weight, and you're not going to get a lot of respect for fighting at catch weights, in my opinion.
He ain't going to be able to fight for the titles at a catch weight either.
He's not big enough in it, not yet. No.
Because the other champions, like, there's no way a Fundora or soon to be Tim Tszyu, who's going to be a champion again, I believe, is going to go down to 150 and let him fight for a title. They're not. They're going to be like, you need to come up. I just feel like 4 divisions is Crawford's cap. Like, whenever you're talking about Israel gave you a hard fight because he was a lot stronger than you thought he would be. And you make that statement to me, that tells me that Canelo's going to fucking ragdoll you. Because if you think Israel is strong, what are you going to do whenever you get in the ring with a guy who's used to fighting guys who come into the ring over 200 pounds?
All right, fair point. You can't really argue with that.
It's a step too far. Like, I'm telling you, Canelo ain't had a knockout since he fought Caleb Plant. He'll knock him out. He will knock him out. Bud will go to sleep. And all that dog talk don't mean shit to me. You could be a dog all day, but even a dog can be put down. In fact, dogs get put down every day. Furthermore, all that street fighting talk Bud has doesn't mean shit to me, because we've already seen Canelo at press conferences, like with Caleb Plant. He'll fight you in the streets. You disrespect him, you push him, you touch him, and he'll fucking try to fight you right there. So all that dog that Canelo or Bud talks about that he has, Canelo has every bit of that dog. Crawford, I don't even know if Crawford could beat Lara. Lara's been knocking people out. Old man Lara is a power puncher. I don't even know if Crawford, and that wouldn't even be a 168. Wouldn't that be a 160?
Yeah, I think Lara's at 160 now, isn't he?
No, who?
Lara. What was the last weight he fought
I'm
at?
sure he's a champion at 160.
Yeah.
But that means Bud would have to go up another weight class to fight him.
Oh, there's a fight I actually thought a fighter I actually thought beat Canelo in that fight.
Who's that?
I actually thought Lara nicked it against Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it either way. Like, to me, that is a controversial fight. That is a fight that could have went either way. Like, you had Lara being very defensive, making Canelo miss, but at the same time, Lara didn't really let his hands go. So I don't know. Like, I'm not mad with Canelo winning. I think it could have went either way.
Do you think he won the first Triple G fight?
No, Canelo lost that fight.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to convince me that it was a draw or Canelo won. Like, that's just ridiculous. I don't even think Canelo won the second fight. I thought it was a draw.
Mm-hmm. So he couldn't beat an old man? Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Well, he beat Triple G in the trilogy. Like, he convincingly beat Triple G the last time he fought him. There was no questions.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I mean, from your perspective, he conclusively won one of the 3 fights.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, I thought he lost to Triple G in the first fight. This is why, like, Canelo fans, they be like, you're a hater. You said, because I be bringing up asterisks. Like, I say, I truly believe Austin Trout beat him. I thought Austin Trout won that fight when he fought Canelo. Then Mayweather fights him, outclasses him. Lara fights him, you arguing that he won it, which you could argue. I'm not mad with that argument. Then he goes up and fights Triple G. Should have lost. He goes up and fights Bivol. Got outclassed. So, I mean, he definitely has, like, nicks against him. Yeah, I agree with that, no dice. Tim Tszyu beats the brakes off of Terrence Crawford. I think he beats the living shit out of Crawford. I don't even think Crawford could be Fundora, to be honest with you. I think Fundora may spark Crawford. It's just I've seen him. Maybe Crawford can make me a believer at 154 in his next fight, but it doesn't sound like he wants to fight anybody but Canelo. So I don't know who Bud's fighting next. Let's actually look it up. Terrence Crawford next fight. Who are they talking about him fighting? Electro J.
Tony, I didn't mean that argument to start with you and the other guys. I was just, I was going to respectfully. Oh shit! Hold on, fuck.
You stirring that pot again, Jed?
Apparently, I was stirring the pot, man. Apparently, man.
Come on, someone take the wooden spoon out of your hand.
But no, because I had to respectfully disagree with your assessment of what I saw. I thought Bivol won, but not. I thought it was extremely close. I thought Bivol won by a fucking cunt hair, because the determining factor for me was round 7. Right, round 7, Bivol stopped Beterbiev in his tracks. Right, I mean, he chin checked him. He chin checked Beterbiev, and I knew if Beterbiev got chin checked even once, he's going to come back harder. And he has. He's done it every time. I think I've seen Beterbiev chin check like 5 times, and he came back way harder.
You talking about Beterbiev?
Beterbiev.
Yeah, you talking about round 7, right? I got to highlight it right here. That's the round where Bivol was winning, and he traded with him, and he got caught, and Beterbiev beat on him for the last minute of the round.
I think it was actually the last, because I wrote down on my notes, I think it was the last. Beterbiev was looking better at the end of the round, I would say last 30, 40 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. I wouldn't say the full minute.
Look right here, Jed. I was writing notes too. These are my notes.
Okay, but I've got a better idea. Let's just agree for the sake of the argument. Let's say it's a minute, right? Now, that minute of activity, is it more effective than Bivol's 2 minutes of activity?
By far, because Bivol was hurt bad.
No, I didn't think Bivol was hurt bad at the end of the round. I don't think Bivol was hurt at the end of the round. Now, Bivol was hurt round 9. Bivol got fucking caught, because I gave rounds 9, 10. I gave Beterbiev rounds 9, 10, and I think it was 11 or 12. He didn't get both. I didn't think Beterbiev got both of the championship rounds.
You're the only person I've heard that believes Bivol won that gave him one of the last 3 rounds. Every single person I've heard talk, 10 through 12, they've all given to Beterbiev.
Yeah, my thing is, I try when I score a fight, I'm looking for actual punches scored, and yeah, I do look for effective punching. Don't get me wrong, I do, but I'm not letting glancing blows on the arm, on the gloves pass as a direct punch. It has to, for me, it has to score. And one of the things that I'll do is effective. I'll use ring generalship if the round is really, really close. Like round 3 for me was really close, but I had to give it to Beterbiev because dude commanded the ring. Bivol was on the back foot the whole time, and he wasn't being aggressive. He wasn't throwing any combinations. Not really in round 3, and Beterbiev was constantly coming forward. So I ended up giving Beterbiev round 3, but rounds 1 and 2 definitely went to Bivol, because if you can control, Bivol needed to control the distance, and he stuck to his game plan, and he's one of the few boxers that do. He got caught up against the ropes maybe 2 or 3 times and constantly got out. He doesn't fall for traps. And that's what I like about Bivol. Now, when it comes to
scorecard.
When it comes to these two fighters, I like them both equally. I'm not a Bivol fan over a Beterbiev fan. I think Beterbiev is a dangerous fighter. I think he's more dangerous of a fighter, but Bivol is a more skilled boxer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I went into this fight. And that's when I first when I made my picks, I said if it goes a distance, I said Bivol would win by decision. But and I also said this specifically: if Bivol chin checks Beterbiev is going to win because Beterbiev is going to come back harder, and he might just be able to knock out Bivol. That's what my prediction was.
Okay, can I quickly jump in, right? Because it's just occurred to me in terms of what we've discussed. We've only discussed 3/4 of the scoring criteria. We haven't actually discussed defense.
Yeah, I brought up defense earlier, like before you came here. But the thing about defense,
Sorry about that.
defense is the weakest criteria on the scoring criteria. Like defense comes last.
No, Tony, it doesn't say anywhere. It just says that they're all equal in terms of their value. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything about this. Now, I know what you're saying. You're talking about what's easier to score. I get that. But in my head...
What I brought up as a comparison earlier is, right, if defense mattered that much, then Loma would have beat Teofimo Lopez in the first 6 rounds. But he didn't. Why? Because he didn't let his hands go enough. His defense was on point. Teo was swinging at nothing but air in them first 6 rounds. He couldn't hit Loma for nothing. But for whatever reason, Loma wasn't throwing back to the point of where Teo won by default. Because
I'm going to have to... Well, that may be what's happened, but I think that's pure BS. Because at the end of the day, if in my head, if everything's equal, then if you win the defense, then you're 25% up on your opponent for that round.
I agree, but what I'm saying is you go to defense last if everything is equal. It goes like this, right?
All right. I think I know where you're going. Yeah, I got it.
I'll give you an example, right? The most important thing is clean, effective shots, right?
Yes.
If I land 15 clean, effective shots on you and you only land 5 on me, nothing else matters. I won the round. It doesn't matter how good of a ring general you was. It doesn't matter how effective your aggression was. It doesn't matter how good your defense was. If I outland you 15-5, nothing else matters. So they're not equal.
They should be, though.
But they're not. It's not a scale of parts. It's a greater than to lesser than evaluation. Go
ahead.
For example, let's use a whole different thing that has nothing to do with boxing, right? When you're evaluating a car, right? The first thing that you look at on an older, say, classical car is how many miles is on the actual original engine. That is the most important thing, because you could have a car in pristine condition, but if it's got 500,000 miles on it, it ain't worth shit in comparison to a car with 1,000 miles on it with not so good conditions. The next thing you go to is how many original pieces does it have to it. The next thing you go to is how well maintained is it. So while everything is important, some things are more important than others. And that's the same thing with boxing. It's not a 25% by 4 category. It's if this is even, we go to the next thing. If that is even, we go to the next thing. If that is even, then we go to the final thing. It's a scale that you go from top to bottom to come out with the winner. But if it's as plain as day that one guy outlanded you by 10 punches, we're not even talking about nothing at that point.
I get the principle of what you're talking about, but let me put it this way. Let me do a thought experiment, right? You got 2 guys in the ring, right? And they only come forward and backwards. They don't go side to side. They just come at each other and they just stand on their square and they box and they don't move their head. There's no defense to score in that situation because they're not using any, right? Okay. But as soon as you get someone who shows angles, footwork, that sort of thing, well, you're going into ring generalship and defense because you need you need to be able to move to be a ring general, and for defense you need to be able to slip punches and that sort of thing.
Well, the ring general is just who controls the center of the ring, and by default, Bivol lost that in damn near every round.
That's not exactly true, Tony.
I'm going to disagree with what I saw in the highlights.
You got to remember, and my least favorite boxer, Floyd. All right, he was hardly ever in the center of the ring.
What about Ali when he was on the ropes? Was he the ring general?
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. So you can't really use that as a guide because Floyd,
Better example, actually.
With as talented as he was, he always fought a defensive fight. Always fought a defensive fight, and he would counter and be able to get and sucker these guys to put in that straight, so he could come in with that looping left.
You're talking about things. Mayweather is completely different than how Bivol fought this fight. So first off,
no, I know.
We're not. We're just talking about defense, though. Defense, not how you defend.
I'm about to address this.
Sorry.
I'm about to unpack it and make it make sense. And this fight that we're using, as far as ring general, there was only one guy pushing the pace of the fight. There was one guy controlling the ring. That was Beterbiev. Bivol was not like a Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather may get on the back foot. He may move away from you, but he sets his feet and he sharp shoots you. He hits you. He controls his range, controls his distance. And after he does that, he may move around from you. And then he does the same thing. He'll counter shot you. There's several times in a Floyd Mayweather fight, whether he's moving backwards, he's setting his feet and beating you in the pocket. Beterbiev was pot shotting and running the entire fight. The entire fight, he was running. There was no ring generalship. Bivol had zero control of the fight. That is basically rudimentary what a ring general is. You're controlling the flow of the fight. Normally, traditionally, is a guy who controls the center of the ring. But at all times, Beterbiev, even in the rounds that Beterbiev lost, he was in control of the flow of the fight.
All right, all right, this is all subjective because I gotta respectfully disagree with you because I thought Bivol did an excellent job at keeping the distance, and he was controlling the distance for most of the fight. He controlled the distance. Beterbiev kept coming at him, and Bivol was controlling the distance, keeping him at long range. Whereas Beterbiev, he's mid range to inside, and Bivol is at range, long distance to mid. If his opponent isn't a masterful mid fighter, then Bivol will come in and cream somebody from the mid. But Bivol's main fighting style is from long range, and I'm sorry, I got to, like I said, respectfully, but I got to disagree. He controlled the distance of the fight. Just because Beterbiev kept coming forward does not mean he controlled the fight, because Beterbiev threw a bunch of haymakers that hit nothing but air or glove.
I disagree. 90% of his shots was hitting Bivol. It's just whether they were blocked or not is the discrepancy here. He rarely landed on air. He was hitting them in the glove, the forearms, all night long. Like when he was throwing, he was landing. Now, you could argue that they weren't scoring because Bivol was having a good guard, high guard, and blocking, but he was not swinging at air. Like he rarely ever just connected with air.
Yeah.
Like, as he was marching forward, he was always hitting Bivol. He was always hitting him. There was no point in time in this fight to where he was not connecting with some part of Bivol's body.
I had to watch the fight twice because before, after they called the fight, right? I went back before it shut down. I went back and watched the fight because I seen it 2 times before I even got up on Mad Chad's panel. I watched it the whole fight a complete second time, just to see if I made a mistake on my scorecards, and I still came out with the same thing. Close fight. This is why I said I'm not mad at the decision because it was that close. So I can see, depending on where the judges are, and the judges are all in different positions around the ring, I can see the fight might look different from that perspective. But we only get whatever camera angles we get, and sometimes that gets blocked by the referee or some indiscriminate object. All right, so So we don't have the same view as the judges do. Because I know when I went to the Lomachenko Haney fight, that was way different than what I'm used to seeing on TV. Being there is completely different than actually seeing it on TV. There's a different perspective, and you see different nuances when you're at the ring. So I understand the judges, each judge, has a different perspective. So they seen something different, or their angle was in a way uh, where they might have been either more or less advantageous than us normal folk that watch it on pay-per-view or something like that. That being said, I wasn't mad at the decision. I thought that one, I didn't think that there was any way that Bivol won not Bivol, but Beterbiev won 8 rounds. But again, I'm not a judge, and I don't get paid to do this shit, so I can't argue. The deal is done. It's in the books. It's a loss for Bivol. It's a win for Beterbiev. Am I mad about it? No. Do I disagree with one of those cards? Yes. I don't think that that Beterbiev won 8 rounds. I do think it's a possibility for a draw or a 7-5 at best. But
how many swing rounds did you have, Jed?
Say again?
How many swing rounds did you have?
I had like the reason why I gave round 3 to Bivol, not Bivol, to Beterbiev, is because that was a swing round. 7, I definitely gave to Bivol. What was the other swing round? There was 2 other swing rounds. Swing round. Oh, I think 11. I think 11 was a swing round, and I gave it to Bivol because I thought Bivol landed more combination shots. In fact, no, I know he landed more combination shots. 11.
So three swing rounds?
5. It might have been 5 too.
It's okay. Have to fight.
Really fast, not to break this up. I just was looking at the judges' scorecards, and I looked at my scorecard, right? This is what I came up with when we're talking about accuracy of what they see versus what we see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start from the top. In rounds 1 through 3, all 3 judges scored it the same way I did, okay? In round 4, only one of the judges scored it the way I did, okay? In round 5, 2 of the 3 scored it the way I did. In round 6, all 3 again agree with me. In round 7, 2 out of the 3 agree with me. So we'll put check marks whenever I had the majority. In round 8, I gave it to Beterbiev, but all the judges gave it to Bivol, okay? So that's the only one where I had 0 that agreed with me. In rounds 9 through 12, all 3 of the judges agree with me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the 12 rounds, all 3 of the judges agreed with me on my scorecard. All 3 of them, 8 of the 12. In two of the 12, so now we're at 10 rounds. So 8 all. And 2 out of them, 2 of the 3 agreed with me. And then in 1 of them, only 1 agreed with me. And then in, say, 1 of them, 0 agreed with me. So I would say if I have 8 of the judges' scorecards identical to mine for the rounds that I gave to each fighter, and then in 2 of them, 2 out of the 3, which means I had the majority on my side, agree with me, and only 2 rounds I was off by not having the majority, I would say that my scorecard is pretty damn close to what it was for accuracy.
Yeah, your scorecard was close to the judge's scorecard.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, your judges,
But here's what I'm trying to say, Electro J. Like, people want to come on here, and I'm not throwing shots and saying I'm better than anybody else, but people want to come on here and argue, right? Argue. But I do all this shit live, or I'll drop it immediately after the fight before any of these scorecards are released. There's no time, no nothing, no research, because there's just not enough delay to be able to look at what they did, what I do, especially if it's live.
Right.
And every fucking time, my scorecards, I mean, I would call this 90% accurate to what the actual fight cards are. So my thing is this: when you're consistently scoring the actual right scores, then it builds validity to people who don't do it. And I'm not saying, Jed, that you have no validity. I'm saying maybe you should start doing this to be able to back yourself up whenever people are like, oh, you don't know how to judge a fight. Not saying that you said that, but you start to build a case on the validity that you clearly know how to judge a fight when you're time after time after time after time after time for hundreds of fights, scoring it damn near accurate to exactly what the judges are seeing. Now, when you start doing this time after time and time after time again, and you only have a 10% accuracy, then you can start to say, maybe that person doesn't have a lot of validity behind the name. Maybe they don't know what they're looking at. But in my case, I just find it funny that every time I fucking do this, and every time there's a debate or dispute, my scorecards are always damn near accurate to what the judges saw.
No,
outside of blatant robberies, which I'll call out.
Yeah, but Tony, you know, don't get me wrong, man. I respect your opinion. All right, I really do, and hopefully there's a mutual amount of respect, because I like the idea of debating fights, right? Especially if it's a good fight and it's a close fight. I like the idea. You know, again, all of this, let's just call it what it is. It's all subjective. Now, when I score, I tell everybody I'm still learning, because I think even these judges are still learning. They'll learn, and I don't know what's going on or what's on their minds when they're doing these cards, because maybe something's going on that we don't know about. But when I score the fights, I'm just scoring what I see, what my heart's telling me. I don't take favoritism for fighters. You know, one of my favorite fighters is in Billy, but I'm harder on him than I am on other fighters, because I expect more from him, because I think he's a gifted guy who has some flaws in his defense, and I wish he'd fucking fix that problem. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a fanboy.
So, Jed,
I like certain fighters, but I'm not a fanboy.
I've been on record saying that I think Billy will be the one to beat Canelo at 168. Just so you know, I like him. No. I don't think it's disrespectful, and I'm not trying to shoot shots at you. Like,
no, I don't take it that way at all. Don't think.
I don't take it that way either. There's only one dude that I've conversed with on here that I think knows absolutely nothing about what he sees in the ring, and that's 150. I think that dude is completely fucking clueless. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He claims that I make bad picks, but literally since I started my channel, on the hundreds and hundreds of predictions I've probably done, I think I've gotten maybe 10 or 11 wrong to date. And I just find it funny that this is another fight that he got wrong.
Well, you're doing better than me.
After time, he keeps getting them wrong, but thinks he's a great predictor.
You're doing better than me, because I'm sitting right now at about 60 to 65% range.
No, like look, I'll give you what I mean by this, right? Everybody can pick a favorite to win. Right? No, just listen to me, Jed. Everybody can pick a favorite to win, right? That's easy. If you always bet on the favorite, 9 times out of 10, you'll come out ahead, because the favorites are a favorite for a reason. But where you get to actual knowledge is, can you pick the underdogs? If you can pick the underdogs to win, and you have a high percentage of being right with underdogs, then it means a lot more than just always picking the guy who's favored to win. What I mean by that is, with my underdog picks, I'm at a 90% accuracy for upsets. Case in point, the last big ones. Because even in this fight, Beterbiev was the underdog. Bivol was the favorite. Okay? I picked
90%. Really? That's impressive.
I picked Fundora to beat Tim Tszyu. He did. I picked Paro to beat Matias. He did.
Wait. Let's talk about that Fundora. All right, we're gonna back this train up. All right? Okay.
Go ahead.
We're gonna back this train up right now. Let's talk about that Fundora Tim Tszyu fight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If that elbow to the head, and I'm not saying it was intentional, I doubt that it was. I saw the fight live, and it looked unintentional in my honest opinion. But if it was not for that wound that Tim Tszyu had on his head, Tim Tszyu was going to demolish Fundora.
I
Because
disagree.
every time you could go back and look at it, and I prove my point. Every time Fundora tried to come in on the inside, which is what Fundora usually does, that's where he's comfortable fighting. This is how come he got clocked by what's his name, Mendez? Was it?
Yeah, it was a body shot though.
No, he got hit to the body, but he got knocked the fuck out, just clean cold knocked out. All right, because he fights on the inside. With Tim Tszyu, once that damage was done to his head, Tim Tszyu could not do his normal game plan. But every time Fundora came to the inside, Fundora made him regret it. So it forced Fundora's hand to stay at range. That's why he won. But every time he tried to do what he normally does, he got fucking punished for it.
So here's going to be my counter to what you said. I disagree 100%. Cut or not, Tim Tszyu would have still lost the fight. Before the cut even happened, the tide of the fight was already turning. If you rewatch the fight, watch the last 30 seconds of the second round. Fundora was starting to pick up on the timing and starting to pick Tszyu apart. He was catching him cleanly towards the last 30 seconds. Going into the third round, I think the cut happened like after a minute 30, somewhere around there. He got elbowed. It was accidental. I agree with that. But even before he elbowed him and cut him, he was tagging him left and right. He had already figured him out. He was already catching him, and he was already fighting from range. The fact of the matter is this. Why I knew Fundora was going to beat Tim Tszyu is for this very reason. I've seen this shit before. It was history repeating itself. You had a guy named Manny Pacquiao who was supposed to fight Errol Spence Jr. The fight didn't happen. All of a sudden, Errol Spence gets injured out of nowhere, and then Ugas's opponent gets the same injury out of nowhere. Then whenever Manny gets in the fight with Ugas, it looked like Manny was trying to figure Ugas out, and it looked like Ugas was running a training camp for Manny, like he was already prepped for him. Everything Ugas was doing looked like he had been training for Manny. Manny looked like he had no idea he was going to fight him. Same thing with his fight. Fundora looked like he had been training for Tim Tszyu the whole entire time. Like he knew Keith Thurman was going to pull out with an injury, and Tim Tszyu had no idea. He looked like he was trying to figure a guy out. The cut does add to the difficulty, but he looked like he was trying to figure out a new fighter, and Fundora looked like he had already been training for him. I've already seen it before. I already knew it was going to happen based off of history, and it went down the way I thought it would go down outside of a cut.
Well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one, but I respect your opinion. That's you're entitled, and just like I'm always gonna say my honest opinion, but that's how I feel about that fight. But I thought I'd just let that be known because when you mentioned that fight, I had let's back this shit up for a second. But I don't mean to sound confrontational. Please, if it comes off that way, that's not what's intended. But I will say my opinion on certain things. But I can't stay on here too long, Tony. I wanted to come up and talk with you about the fight, and I appreciate you letting me come up here and chat with you. And BL, thank you I got to get going. I just can't sit here on the computer too long or I'll fucking fade away.
No, you're good, Jed. I don't take it. I don't take it as confrontational. I don't take it as negative. I respect your opinion. Like just like me, you have your own opinion. It's formulated, calculated by how you see things. And I see this is the thing. Like what you heard last night on that panel is here's the thing, Jed. I'm gonna say my piece. You're gonna say your piece. I'm not gonna try to tell you you're wrong for thinking the way you do because that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. You know what I mean? Right. What irritates me is when somebody's going to try to sit there and tell you you're wrong for thinking the way that you think. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And that's what happened last night. Like people like 150 who don't know shit about boxing trying to bring up shit. And then it's just the reality of the fact. Like, bruh, every pick you pick is wrong. What the fuck are we talking about? You shouldn't even be at this table right now. But that's my thing. I don't feel like you disrespect me. Hopefully, you don't feel like I'm disrespecting you.
No. If I felt like you did, I look. I respect your opinion, and I like talking with you about boxing because guess what? we actually talk about boxing and not all the other bullshit that comes in like most of the channels do.
Yeah.
And I come here, I come here, I want to talk boxing. That's what we're doing. We're not veering off, and they're having a dick measuring contest.
Right.
You know, I'm not into that. I got a little dick. I already know that. All right.
Thanks for sharing.
I'm sorry. Just I had to throw that in there. But you know, that's not what I'm into. I'm into, you know, I like to pick people's brains for their boxing knowledge, and hopefully people will, you know, get something from me because I'm old school. You know, I'm 59. I've watched boxing since I want to say 71 when my stepdad got me all into it. He actually took me to the Ali Norton fight in Shea Stadium. That was the only boxing match I went to when I was a kid, and the only boxing match I've been to as an adult was the Lomachenko-Haney fight. I plan on seeing more because that was fun. But as far as watching fights, I've watched fights all my life and loved it. And one of my favorite people was Mike Tyson, you know, because him and I had similar stomping grounds. And to see somebody make it out of the neighborhood that I come from, that you beat your chest for that. So I'm a fan of boxing, and I love talking with other fans. So again, thanks, Tony. I appreciate you letting me up here. And I'll be back again once the next big fight comes up. See you later.
All right, dude. I'll be looking forward to you coming back, and I appreciate you hopping on.
All right, buddy.
All right, have a good
Later, Jed. Tony, quick question, right? About the criteria for scoring. Is it true that Willie Pep won a round without throwing a punch?
Yes.
So that would imply that all criteria are equal.
So let me ask you a question. When you come to a consensus, do you do it by the average or the outlier?
Can you reword it? Because I don't understand what you're asking. I know what you mean by consensus, but outlier and what?
When you come, let me not say consensus. A normality, right? The norm.
Uh-huh.
What normally happens, right? Do you judge a norm by what normally happens or by an outlier?
Yeah, by what happens the most regularly, that's what you consider to be normal.
Right. So my question to you is that fight right there that you mentioned with Willie Pep, how many times in the history of boxing has that ever happened?
I think that might be the only one that I'm aware of.
Exactly. It's the only time from the start to current it's ever happened. So it's an outlier. So
it doesn't. Yeah, it's an outlier, but the way you're talking is if it's an erroneous result.
No, what I'm saying is you can't pull evidence from one outlier as if that's how it normally happens. So what I mean by that is that would be like saying that every single person on the planet can run a sub 100-meter dash, a sub 9.6 100-meter dash because Usain Bolt can do it. That's an outlier. What's the average speed? That's what the normality is. So if you were coming up with the average speed of a human, you wouldn't say, well, the average person can run a 100-meter dash under 9.6 seconds. You would say, no, the average person is running around like an 11-second 100-meter dash because that's what the normality is. So in anything that you have, there's always an extreme and there's always the norm. But you can't judge things by one extreme because it doesn't match the reality of what normally happens.
Okay, but if that situation was to arise again, would they get the round in modern day?
How many punches did Willie Pep throw in that fight?
I don't know how many he threw in the fight, but I believe during the third round, I think it was the third round, he didn't throw a single punch. He just used his defense and his ring generalship.
Well, no. So there would be no ring generalship because
he didn't exactly stand still. So if you're moving, I'm not saying you are the ring general, but you're using ring generalship.
Right. But what I'm saying is like if it was equal, like you claim it is, first off, he didn't throw one punch. So he's negative 25%.
He's negative 50, actually, if you think about it.
Well, yeah, just let me continue. He's negative 25% off that alone, right? Secondly, he wasn't an aggressor because he was always moving away. He didn't even throw a punch. So you can't give him any type of effective aggressiveness because there was nothing thrown back. So that's a negative 50%.
Hold on. Would you consider feinting and getting people out of position with feinting effective aggression?
No.
Oh, see, that's where I consider it effective.
That would be ring generalship would be feinting.
Nah, I disagree. I think ring generalship is just, generally speaking, how you move around the ring.
No,
not necessarily how your torso is moving, but your legs per se.
It's not about how you move around the ring. It's about how you control the ring. You're controlling.
No, you're talking about being the ring general, and I'm talking about ring generalship.
It's this one builds off the other.
Yeah, but who's the most successful at it gets to be the ring general for that round. But
aggression is rudimentally aggression is me attacking you, right?
Yeah, but it has to be effective.
I'm not talking about whether it's effective or not effective. I'm saying aggression alone is just an onslaught. No thought, me attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In order to be aggressive, you have to attack. A feint is trying to make you move, get out of position, set up a shot, make you bite. That's what a feint is doing. So that would be more on the lines of being ring generalship, because I'm controlling the action of the fight by controlling your movements. I didn't throw anything, so if I'm not attacking you, I'm not being aggressive. But I am controlling you off the feints. Therefore, in my opinion, it would be more under the category of your ring generalship.
Look, I'm not mad because I just think you put it in the wrong category, but it's not even that important.
Well, I just don't see how it's in the wrong category. It's like,
because if it's like posturing in a fight. Before a fight kicks off, people start posturing. They start waving their arms about.
Right, but that's not aggression.
It is aggression.
You have to attack to be aggressive.
No, you're using aggression in the context of boxing, but I'm saying it is aggression, period, when you start feinting.
Okay, let me ask you this. If it's aggression, right, let me ask you this. Just in a day-to-day normal life, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I walk up to you and I feint at you and I don't do nothing else, will I go to jail for assault?
No, because you haven't assaulted me.
Right, because I haven't made no aggression towards
No, you haven't made any contact, to be specific. You have to make contact for an assault. A physical assault.
Not always. You just not always have.
I'm not interested in hearing about someone's hurt feelings.
Right, but I'm just saying. But the fact of the matter is there's no real aggression. I haven't touched you. Like there's. I'm just. Okay,
so by your same logic, are missed punches aggression?
Yeah.
But they haven't touched.
It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter if they touch or not.
Whenever I'm throwing a shot at you, the intent is to either land on you, or if I don't land on you, I'm throwing something behind that. I'm trying to cover you with my lead hand, my jab hand, where you don't see what's coming behind it to crack you. So
all right, yeah. I see your point now when it comes to ring generalship, when it comes to feinting, because if you get someone off their... Okay, I'll concede that point.
Yeah, that is all I'm saying. Like, I just see that as ring. But anyways, back to the fight. No, like he would have lost, in my opinion, he would have lost all categories except defense. But because he put on such a stellar display of defense, he was the first one in the history to win a round without throwing a punch, because it was just that amazing what he did, to where that is like the greatest defense we've ever seen it to that point, to where it stands head and shoulders above the rest, which even by that metric alone shows you that these metrics are not even.
So let's say he won defense and ring generalships. That's 50% of the criteria, and the other guy missed every single shot. So his aggression was not effective. He didn't land any punches, so there's no clean punching to the score. Defense, well, if there's nothing coming back at you, that's kind of a hard to sort of score defense. Yeah, it's not exactly clear, is it? One way or another, is it?
I agree. It's not clear one way or the other. But again, I just feel like I've never seen it where I've never seen a guy lose a round that's significantly outlanded another fighter when he hasn't been dropped or hurt really bad. Like if you drop somebody, it can change everything. That's I'm not getting into the weeds of that, and I'm not getting into the weeds of where a guy hits somebody really good and puts them on spaghetti noodle legs, because then it gets a little gray area.
Oh, so the point I made about the 9-9 round earlier is, okay, now listen to this scenario. You have a round, one guy knocks down the other, but the guy who ends up on his ass won the round. What's the score?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So you have one guy who knocks the other guy down, but the guy who got knocked on his ass for that round actually ends up winning the round, but he didn't knock the other guy down. What's the score?
10-8 for the guy who did not get knocked down but lost the rest of the round. I'll give you a point to that. Look at the scorecards with Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Just go to that 12th round. Deontay Wilder damn near sent him into another world, but whenever Fury got up, arguably he won the rest of the round. He completely dominated Wilder for the rest of the 12th round outside of that one connection, but they still gave Wilder a 10-8 round. I don't believe in 9-9 rounds. I believe
but to be fair, I think when Fury came back, it was only the last 20 or 30 seconds of the fight, wasn't it? Before the last bell, wasn't it?
Well, even before that, in the other round, he got knocked down. He was winning the round before he got knocked down.
Oh, yeah. It was the 8th or 9th round. And that only partially connected, that punch.
Yeah, and then he got up and then, started to win again. So, I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't like 9-9 rounds. I like to give
You don't like 10-10 rounds then either? Or even rounds?
A 10-10 is the same as a 9-9.
Yeah, exactly. It's even, isn't it?
I don't believe in even rounds. The only way I would ever give an even round is if neither guy landed a shot or threw a shot, and they just looked at each other like somebody went AFK on a fight night game. Like, that's the only way.
See, the way I score a fight is, right, depending on the amount of rounds. So if it's 10 rounds, it's 100 points. If it's 12 rounds, 120 points. And the way I always start it is everybody has 10 points at the start of each round. And depending on what happens, you just take points off.
Right. I don't disagree, but then you're going to get into the weeds of why would you take a point off? Because I feel like...
But someone lost a round.
Well, no. But what I mean by that is, my personal opinion is, I feel like if you floor somebody and they don't floor you, you won the round no matter what. I don't care how bad they come back. I don't care how good they were looking before they got floored. The minute you floor them, you won the round by default, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's take it to extreme, but I can't think of any real examples. So you got 2.5 minutes of someone taking an absolute beating, and the person taking a beating lands a punch out on the last 20 seconds of the round, knocks the guy down. Are you still going to give them the 10-8?
Yes.
Okay.
By default, if you floor somebody, you lose, in my opinion, by default.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you know actually if you knock someone down, the opponent loses a point. Now, whoever wins the round, their opponent loses a point.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that mindset or concept. Whoever loses the round loses a point. Whoever gets knocked down technically loses a point. However, if you get knocked down, you've lost the round by default. Unless you knock him down too, the discussions in my mind go out the window for you winning the round. The minute you get floored, you've lost the round. There's no budging the needle for me. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care if you get a guy wobbly and it looks like he's going to go down. If he doesn't touch the canvas as well, you've lost.
Okay, but what about this? Was it the third Fury Wilder fight where they knocked each other down? I think 3 times. Now, was there a round where they knocked each other down once each?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's a shame.
But I mean, if you were to go into the weeds about like let's say I knock you down, then you knock me down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we both been down once in the round. Then I would give the round to whoever looked the best in the round because the knockdown's been negated by another knockdown.
Yeah, because it's almost as if you're starting the round off again even.
Right. So traditionally, more than likely, whoever gets the last knockdown would probably win the round because you're going to be worse for wear by the end of the round.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But that's just how I look at it. I mean, like I said, everybody's entitled to judge things how they want to judge them. That's just how I see it.
No, it's been fun. Right, Tony, appreciate you letting me on, but I need to bounce. So until next time, peace out.
You know, on that note, I'm going to end my live stream right here. I appreciate everybody coming on. Boxing Lounge, the guy you was just listening to, he does have a YouTube channel. I don't think he does a lot of boxing talk, but he does play video games. So if you're into watching video games, go subscribe to his channel. That's Boxing Lounge. And then Electro Jed, who was on here earlier, I believe he has a channel as well. So go show him support. Don't forget, I always forget to say it, so you don't forget to do it. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. And if you catch it on the playback, and if you really like it, subscribe to the channel. Y'all have a good day. Y'all have a good night. And most importantly, have a good life. On that note, I'm out.